What would you be doing right now if you didn't follow your moral compass? Writing straight up lies on my resume as I look for new jobs. Just show up at your dream job and pretend you've been there for months. Ah yes, the George Costanza playbook. Yes of course. The Penske file. Ho ho. Can't wait to sink my teeth into that. Wow, that Penske. Well, we'll straighten him out. Literal fraud. Following proper precautions, I imagine it's very lucrative and pretty difficult to get caught when performing credit card fraud. But I can't imagine living with myself when stealing from regular people just like me. The key to being a criminal, specifically when it comes to fraud or theft, is knowing when to quit. I love reading about criminals that get away with things for years and then get lazy and then get caught. Need to know when to go straight. Pigs get fed, hogs get slaughtered. That's what my accountant says, ha ha ha. Telling certain patients to duck off. I want to take care of people. I don't want to be talked down to, yelled at, threatened, lied to for drugs, or so many other stupid things, all while smiling and biting my tongue. As a teacher, is also be telling some people, mostly parents, but sometimes students, to duck off. There are students who do things that annoy me or others without knowing/realizing that what they're doing is a problem. It can get tiresome, but that's part of being a teacher, is pointing that out and helping them learn. But there are also kids who do things on purpose just to annoy me/derail/bud/bug their clubadmates. I'd tell them to duck off. As a teenager, teachers need a lot more respect. Seeing how stupidly other kids treat the teachers, let alone parents. I had a history club where the teacher needed to give an hour-long speech on impulse control to 8th graders //, which changed nothing // unless you are actively mean to your students. You have my respect. Also, please take the effort to grade tests. As a student, test scores help me study for finals. I don't want to tell you how to do your job, but I needed to get that off my chest before the semester starts. Yeah, I'm kind of the same. When the teacher is nice and the kids take advantage of his/her niceness, it pisses me off. But if the teacher deserves it, they deserve it. Honestly, a part of it comes down to the students as well. If you can see it, you can fight it. One thing I don't regret doing in my last school year was to shush those loud moffers. They start fighting with me and then weigh themselves down. By far the most effective thing I've ever seen was the two clowns doing their bit and then the rest of the club just doing a SSSSSSSSHHH sound like a choir. Can't fight the whole club, but well, at this moment in time I'd be doing the exact same thing. Staying up until 1 AM on Reddit. Simple yet self-destructive. Those are some rookie number, my friend. 3:49 AM here. Me at 7. I'm your la week. It's ducking 10 AM here. Pulling an all-nighter again. Probably still waiting for my food at this restaurant. Edit. The food arrived and was fantastic as always. 32 minutes now. Have you received it yet? Don't leave us hanging. Edit. Typo. And 13 minutes more butted. I'm slowly starting to worry. He's probably full and napping. Or starved to death. I can't say exactly, but it starts with S and ends with L-ing drugs. Oh, you're stopping people from selling drugs. How good and law-abiding of you. Everybody loves a good vigilante. I'd be in a car driving away from my kids, leaving my sick wife to deal with the two little lunatics. I'm so exhausted I just want to sleep for 12 hours and not have to break up constant fights/screaming crying about nothing. Bro, you alright? Not particularly, but there is nothing in the world money, friends or anything can do. This is one of those situations where you just need to bite down and ducking deal. I need to be there for my kids while my wife gets better. Hopefully I don't lose my job because I can't send them to daycare right now because testing is such a joke. The kids were up from 4 AM till 11:30 PM last night with no break really. My wife is on doctor's orders to not interact with them. The basement flooded. A tornado rolled through town. At least today they are asleep by 9 PM. Oh, I have to go clean literal shut off a bunch of maybe COVID-19 contaminated shut from a bunch stuff in the basement right now, and am high risk. I want to hug you so much right now. I'm so sorry. Packing for school. My dad tested positive for COVID this morning. And although I haven't been in close contact, he just got home from vacation. I have to get tested, and it's recommended I quarantine 2 weeks regardless of the result. My college move-in day was supposed to be Saturday. I've been stuck at home for so long. Haven't seen my boyfriend in months. I was so ready to go, and this setback has me losing my mind. But my moral compass is telling me I shouldn't put people at risk, even if there's only a small chance of a false negative. I'm expecting to be negative. I wish everyone else actually took quarantine seriously. Whoop, that's rough. I really hope you don't get it too. Getting laid. Since I do have a moral compass though, I'm sticking it out in my dead bedroom relationship, hoping that one day, when he's not so stressed out from work, he might actually notice me. Yep, this one hits home. At least I've still got Bob. Follow my pleasure instincts. Eat. Duck. Give in to anger and probably murder. Duck, it's not my moral compass that is preventing me from that. You in jail, bro? Same. Do you live at Chud with other prisoners and play video games all day? Cause that'd be sweet. Or you the type of prisoner to put your cell phone up your butt during lunch to avoid the random searches? I'd be married to a guy who owned his own airplane courier company. He was boring as duck, but he was rich and into me. I could have used him for his money, but it just didn't feel right. I often think how my life might be different if I married the sugar mama I was dating. Yup, same. She's a doctor now. Sigh. Enfant. Exactly the same. Even if I didn't have a moral compass, it'd still have a brain and sense of self-preservation, which means anything that I'd be more willing to do I still wouldn't due to the consequences. I've long since pondered if there is such thing as morals. What we consider moral has changed over time. Many times. It's all social constrictions and consequences. And we do have people who do things they shouldn't, but mostly because they feel they can, and for the most part do, get away with it. But if we had no social guidelines, people would give in to their id and do things we consider immoral. Look at something as simple as slavery. It was perfectly acceptable and not considered immoral before, and it was normal. If you are one to argue we have an internal compass that makes us magically know what is good or bad, then that situation would have never come about. Not to the degree or normalcy it did. So yeah, morals are a social construct that change over time. Who knows what we will consider moral or immoral 10, 30 or 100 years from now. Morals are a social construct that change over time. I think you answered your own question with this statement. Morals do exist, but perhaps they exist as a social construct. We humans only really survive this long because we're social creatures, and while the level of sociability can vary from one person/culture to the next, cooperation and reciprocity play a large role in our success as a species. Morals, I think, are an extension of this. In order for us to all cooperate and make our society function in a peaceful and fruitful way, there are some things we can't do. You aren't cooperating with people in your own tribe if you're bashing them over the head. Carl. That being said, morality is a messy and complicated thing. You get into subjects such as risk vs benefit, for instance. In human research, objectivity vs subjectivity, culpability, all kinds of shit. That's why it's so heavily philosophized. The only reason why Canadian geese have not taken over is because they have no concept of morals or ethics, and thus cannot advance as a species. Probably joining the neighbor in ducking his wife while Doom soundtracks are blasting in the background instead of listening to it from the neighborhood while smoking. Open your Hell's Gates woman. Puts on condom with malicious intent. This made me think a moral compass has close to zero effect on my moderate actions, which are mostly conditioned by shallowness, apathy, fear and social stupidity. I'm not doing anything significantly unethical, not because I'm good, but because I'm dull. You okay, bro? Absolutely wrecking some 12-year-olds Minecraft world. Absolutely wrecking some 12-year-olds, that's all I read. I'd be a lawyer. Heh. Just because I drink and bowl now doesn't mean I couldn't have been a lawyer. I can't complain though. Not many people have had an action figure made of them. Not giving up my life in my city to help my mother have a comfortable hospice in her home. Living like I'm just here for myself. You are brave and kind. And that is a true gift not only for your mother, but for yourself too. I hope and wish you are fine and can make an enjoyable life for yourself. Call Islanders a boring old biddy. You are more animal than man. That moment a relapse of spank therapy. Killing someone. Whole lot of killing in general, if there was no moral combat. No, I mean I have a few specific people I wouldn't mind getting rid of. I mean I would have a very long list of soon to die people if I didn't have a moral combat. Probably in the tens of thousands. You are made at that many people. Selling pics online. Your girl needs money. Jesus was friends with prostitutes. Go right ahead. Not the best analogy, I ain't going to lie. But the one we deserve. Murdering people that deserved it. Politicians. CEOs. Corrupt cops. Greedy rich ducks. I would definitely do the same. I guess this is one of those, not against my morals, but prison exists things. Not against my morals, but prison exists things. I vibe so hard with this. Sleeping with a married man. My mom's been sleeping with a married man for years. He's my dad. Pillaging, I guess. Just not give a duck about anyone and stop being nice. If you're stupid, I'll punch you. Modern medicine has gone too far. If natural selection don't cut it anymore, I will. I say the biggest problem with society today is we made a good bop to the nose something to be shunned. If more people knew that, by acting a certain way they may end up on the bop end of a bop to the nose, people would be much more polite. I can understand what you mean. There's a lot of people who just hide behind the threat to call the cops. On one hand it's good, because people don't get violently attacked as much. On the other hand, a single punch or a short fight can work so much better at letting someone know they ducked up. Thankfully adults are ducks a lot more rarely. I don't mean beating someone. I mean a quick rabbit punch to say you crossed a line. No, there are no repercussions for crossing a line. Because butt-alt is punished harshly and cameras are everywhere. It is getting out of hand. I liken it to the wildlife park in Africa that had all the juvenile male elephants go into heat and stay in heat, getting out of control because the new park decided bringing in full-size bulls was too costly and dangerous. There was no big elephants to put the dumb young ones in check, so they started attacking rhinos and cars and females. They brought in big male bull elephants and these young males got right in line. Realistically, due to my poor impulse control and my hypersexuality thanks to my borderline personality disorder and PTSD, I'd probably rob as many places as possible, have sex with prostitutes, go back to being an ecstasy addict, and hunt down and kill old friends and family who have broken my heart. Opted say no moral combat. Sleeping around as much as possible because it was fun and the thrill of it is hard to replace, said it. It's not a morality issue. I'm in a monogamous relationship. I love her very much and we have a good sex life. But you know, those past days were fun too. Shout out to the weird Christian guilt I still have about sex despite ditching that religion at like 14. High school could have been a lot more fun. Definitely get it if you can get it. Hell yeah. I wish I had let go of a bunch of hang-ups in high school. Cold slept around a lot more when I think back. Masturbating. Buddy, have I got some news for you. I don't know about you, but I don't think it's moral to spank it in front of kids. God bless. He destroyed you, bud. Dead. I'd be really dead. Same. 100%. Cutting drugs. I know some drug dealers, and one of them offered me a job cutting / measuring and packing cocaine and heroin, but I turned it down. I would either have to cut it at their place, which is always at risk of being busted while in there, or at my place, which I just refuse to do. I have cats, I'm not risking them licking some of that shut up. It's just not worth the risk. And also I don't really want to have a hand in someone else's addiction. I don't do drugs or even drink. Because I grew up with a heroin addicted mother. I don't want to do that to someone else's kid. Till that cats can be useful. Huh, that guy seems to get new cats a lot. Probably still living at home with my Catholic parents. Instead I'm happily living with my transgender girlfriend and sleeping in the same bed while unmarried. The horror. If I had listened to the moral combat I grew up with, I'd still be miserable to the point of considering suicide. Yeah, but there's a difference between listening to the morals prescribed to you and your own internal morals. Obviously your morals were different. Sounds to me like you did follow your moral combat. This cracking onto a married guy I know. My partner and I are both dieting today, so no booze or treats. If I had no moral combat I would be drinking and eating whatever I wanted in front of them and ignoring their complaints. You're a good partner. Thanks on behalf of someone who wouldn't have the support. It really would mean the world. Sucks. Big time. But should be appreciated. Get me a sugar daddy. Probably just strip my sister a new hole, verbally for the most part, unless she gets violent, which she tends to do. She is racist, phobic, I'm out as pansexual, and has stolen from my mum probably about 28 times and my somehow still lets her back. Sounds like there are no moral obligations preventing you from verbally correcting her behavior. Radical environmental terrorism. Amen. Count me in. It's so weird that doing a monumental favor for our species can get you branded a terrorist. Defending our environment is a defense of human lives, everywhere, without regard to race, creed, nationality or religion. Honestly, having sex with a woman, I don't know if I'm gay or bi or what, but I know I'm with a man, but I really want to have sex with a woman. If your current relationship goes bust you should go for it. Worst case scenario you don't like it. Ducking a married man. What if you already have and were simply unaware? I have before. Technically, they were separated and getting a divorce. Arguably that isn't ducking a married person, right? If they're legally married, they're legally married. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you want more videos don't forget to like and subscribe. You are helping me a lot. Thanks again.